Hello everyone and welcome to Leagues Under the Ink. I'm going to be one of the commentators today, Cryptic Spoon of Team CQC. I'm joined today by my co-commentator, Torizo.
Hello everyone, what's up? What's going on?
He plays for the team in the Ink. He's also part of my B division, and we're hoping to face off in the Week 7 final round in a fight to the death.
Both undefeated, hopefully.
Yeah, so today we're going to bring you some VODs that were from Sunday. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to run them on the Sunday, but a lot of people asked for these games. They were really, really interesting. So we're going to be running speedruns live first, and then we're going to be running into JFG and DG right after. All right, so before we get into the game, let's bring up a little bit about what Speedruns Live and Koopa Clan are. With Speedruns Live, we have obviously a prolific team of speedrunners. Originally started by Tudos, they collectively kept getting more and more Speedruns Live players to join the Splatoon team themselves, and they've gotten better and better through every tournament. They started off doing pretty okay, and then now they're starting to upset bigger and bigger teams. They even took a whole set off of NSTC, one of the previous tournaments before this match, so I'm really excited to see how they can do. And then we obviously have the pride of France, Koopa Clan, always outperforming, always overachieving what they can do, finishing third, second in tons of tournaments. I mean, we all know that they're a good caliber of team. Do you have anything to add to that, Torizo?
I definitely agree with Koopa Clan. We actually had the luxury of facing them in a couple of tournaments. We did not fare too well against them. The closest we've ever been to Koopa Clan was back in August, where it's called oh man, I can't remember the name, but we lost to them 3-2. It was quite the upset because they got the reverse sweep off of us.
I mean, Koopa Clan's definitely a great team. They usually love running those wall comps. They love their walls. Koopa Clan is the team of walls, but they know how to use them really well. SRL is kind of an odd team. They kind of use different weapons. You have Albino running the Bamboozler, also known as the Boozle God, at least for the Eastern scene. And then we have Tudos, who recently was a Tech, and then has switched over a little bit more to walls because there's not a lot of people on his team who can run walls. And he's been doing extremely well. One of his previous games, he played in one of the previous games, actually the last LUTI match, he played in a Mahi match, and he just had excellent wall play. You could tell that he's really growing into the wall play itself. I'm really excited to see these matches since it will be in the POV of Speedruns Live. So without any further ado, let's get right into the matches.
All right.
I'll just have you sync up with me. So on my mark, I'll count down at 3, 2, 1, and then we'll both go at the same time. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go. So the first match is on Tower Control Blackbelly Skate Park. Is there anything that you can tell me about this map that would intrigue the viewers watching today?
I would like to see, once they get to the half-pipe section, I would like to see how a team could either lock it down or the opposing team can repel a push towards the end. Because once you lock down the other team in that narrow section, it can be a little difficult to stop the team that has all the map control from taking it all the way to the zero.
For sure.
I want to see how that rolls out.
I mean, if there's one team that can definitely stop pushes at that half pipe, it is Koopa Clan. At least with their 2 walls, they just keep placing walls right on that tower. It'd be really difficult for them to push. KC is definitely a team that is very strong on tower control itself, just because of their composition that they normally play. So it looks really interesting. Yeah, as you can see, as I just say that, SRL is going with 3 walls and a Hydra Splatling. This is actually a really interesting comp, but I really like it. Hydra Splatling kind of replacing the Sniper. They don't provide exactly the same role, but they're just trying to try out something new, and I love it.
With their 2 killer whales, they can provide excellent stops if Koopa Clan does advance to the half pipe.
All right.
Especially if they're in overtime.
And let's get into it. So Koopa Clan is running a classic. Actually, they're getting out. They're not even using 2 walls like their classic. They're going with a Luna Blaster.
And an E-Leader. Nice. We got
So
one
yeah,
SRL player
Yeah.
down already.
As we start off the game, we have Tudos getting a kill and jumping on the tower. Sniper's just on the snipe perch of the enemy team. This is a little bit risky for Tudos. It seems like none of these players are up near him. Oh, and Sabo with a nice kill on Tudos. It was a pretty decent first push considering that there wasn't really much of a team wipe on both sides. SRL was still managing to keep it up pretty well. Oh, and a nice double kill by Soren. So SRL looked a little bit shaky just on that second push. They're coming in on that right side. Is Torizo here? So it looks like Soren... Oh, we just have a little bit of technical difficulty with Torizo. So it looks like Koopa Clan is just dominating on this push. SRL can't really get any ground. Oh, and a nice kill by Tudos. Looks like SRL is going to push it back. So it looks like Tudos is going to push up the left side. He's just going to cover some ink. It seems like it's the right choice. Honestly, he's still making the right decision even though they're coming behind. And of course, Soren again. Soren just seems to be punishing him every time Tudos comes out. I mean, what? Oh, and another kill. Looks like Tudos is getting rocked right now. But other than that, SRL seems to be doing the right thing to get back in the game. They seem to be trying to cover ink. Even though Koopa Clan keeps pushing, they're kind of doing the right thing. They just seem to be getting outplayed on the 1v1s in this matchup. And Koopa Clan is just all over their base, and that looks like it's just going to be a clean clear. Oh, and no, they stop it right at the tower. I mean, if SRL was doing this more around the 40 mark, this would be a lot closer game, but it seems like they can only hold off the pushes at the 2 mark. KC doing a great job of just holding that tower and winning the 1v1s that they need to win up near that 40 mark of the half pipe. As Torizo said right at the beginning of the game, the half pipe is everything to this matchup, and KC just seems to be dominating that side. Tudos, as much as he's trying to go up to that mid, he just keeps getting killed by Soren or Kiver non-stop. Oh, and a nice double by Tudos. But it looks like Andy's still riding the tower. It looks like he's going to try and bring it for another victory march. Oh, and a beautiful kill by Sabo, and that takes the victory. So we'll wait up for the next game just before Torizo boots up his computer again. And welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. So, just before we get into the next game, I mean, that was a pretty rough start for SRL. I mean, you could definitely see some glimpse of their teamwork coming through. They were definitely trying to cover ink at the points when the tower was coming towards them. They just didn't seem to execute on the 1v1s in that matchup. I mean, overall, they're really close teams, personally, in my opinion. So it just seems like it was more of a mismanagement of plays. Hopefully they can fix it up in the second game. Torizo, where are you at on your VOD? Are you at 25 minutes?
It's loading right now.
Alright, so I'll just pause it for a second. So just get to 25:05. But yeah, definitely, it was a great first push by KC. They just never let up on the pressure on that half pipe. It seemed like SRL, like I said before, they could get that defense at that 2 mark, but they just couldn't do it at the upper point. It seems like they could hold their ground a little bit before, but they just could never get up. And every time Tudos kept trying to pressure that left side to get some more ink coverage, it just seemed like he would just get instantly shut down by Kiver or Soren.
You said 2505, right?
Yes, exactly. 2505.
All right, I am ready.
All right, so on my mark, we'll start the next game, and it'll be Rainmaker Urchin Underpass. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Urchin Underpass Rainmaker. This map is a lot of teams' personal favorites. Not mine in particular, but it seems like a map that everyone really enjoys to play. What are your thoughts on this map?
I really like Rainmaker on Urchin Underpass myself. I feel like it's a really good Rainmaker match because it's a decent length, and there are many spots where you can defend, but at the same time, if your offense is good enough, you can push past the enemy team and get a really good push in.
Yeah, usually I find what my team likes to call it is the fence of death. It seems like if you can get it past the fence on the enemy team side, you usually can confirm the victory. It's very rare that there are knockouts on this Rainmaker stage. The only time that that really does happen is if either you get a really lucky wipe or a push, or you just seem to outplay the team.
Yes, definitely. And once you get past the fence of death, you can get up the ramp and hopefully set up something to, if you can get a nice sweep, you can rush up that ramp and dunk the Rainmaker just in time before they respawn, assuming they're not using quick respawn.
Yeah, so it looks like they swapped out one of their players. It looks like Silver is going for the Ink Brush now. It's very rare you say Ink Brush in competitive play, but if anyone could pull it off, it's definitely Silver. If anyone has ever seen his play in previous matchups, he seems to do incredibly well with it. And it's great for Rainmaker because he can just spread some ink and go right behind him, kind of like a Kraken, but not invincible. I know that previously I've seen a bunch of highlights from Tudos' stream where they've done that, where they've gone 100-0 just with the Ink Brush and the Rainmaker, so maybe that's what they're trying to pull, and it was specifically on this map as well.
It would be interesting to see them pull it off against Cooper Class.
So it looks like they're starting out with just a classic push out, 2 going on the left, 1 going on the right. Oh, and SRL with a great clear, just taking out 3 of the enemy team right off the bat.
Bad placement of the walls there.
And it looks like Kiver is going to pick up the Rainmaker. They're going to head all the way back, try and bring it back to the neutral area while SRL starts setting up again for their second push, potentially. Oh, and a nice pick. So it seems to be interesting. Koopa Clan didn't decide to ever cover ink in that neutral area when SRL had a couple of members down. Oh, and a nice killer whale also by Tudos. It looks as though Koopa Clan seems to be having a little bit of trouble trying to get out of their zone. It seems like every time that they get those 2 or 3 kills, Koopa Clan just never seems to capitalize on the ink coverage and try and spread ahead. They just seem like they're constantly playing in defense mode, which is it's kind of weird of Koopa Clan since they usually tend to know how to push their advantages. And Tudos just with another great kill.
It looks like they're about to get some control back right now, but it doesn't seem like they're pushing much at all. They're just staying on their side, and oh, now they have the Rainmaker.
Yeah, so it looks like 1 member is down for Koopa Clan. sorry, not with Koopa Clan, with SRL. Koopa Clan looks like they're picking up the Rainmaker at the moment. Oh, and Tudos again. It just seems like he keeps coming in at the perfect moment to take out the team, and almost all of Koopa Clan is wiped. This looks like it might be a good push for SRL. Oh, and the Rainmaker gets taken down, but Tudos just starts spawning right as he gets there. He puts a wall down just to make sure that no sniper can go into his area. I mean, the one thing I will say is that Koopa Clan seems to be doing a good job of covering their defensive area. They're not really letting them go past the fence, but so far it just seems like a weak offensive push so far by Koopa Clan. I mean, hopefully they can just get a little bit more kills on SRL so that they can just push up that advantage a little bit further than the neutral area, which they don't seem to be doing so well right now. It seems like SRL just keeps applying the pressure on them, allowing them to never enter their area.
Yeah, they need to get a solid 2 or 3 kills and start putting the pressure on SRL. And hopefully take the lead, make it past the fence, at least.
It's true, that's very interesting. It seems to be looking like Sabo's running Haunt. This seems to be like started out with a Sendo special, where Sendo originally started running Haunt. And it looks like every Luna Blaster seems to be running a bit progressively. It seems like the strategy of die and then just keep tracking your enemies seems to work pretty well.
It's a good trade-off. SRL has 3 down right now. Maybe Koopa Clan can make a push past 66. No. SRL is not letting them take it anywhere.
Oh, and Andy's coming up with the push. I actually like that Andy took the Rainmaker. It seems like at this point in Urchin Underpass, the sniper's not the strongest unless he's at a specific point on the map. So Andy picking up the Rainmaker is a good choice, but they still get taken out just because of the relentless pressure so far by SRL.
"30 seconds left and neither team has taken it a considerable distance. So it's anyone's game still."
That was a great wall placement by Tudos. He kind of just showered himself to make sure that he was a little bit safe and just kind of put himself back to safety. I don't know, it was pretty nice play. Not something that was incredibly valuable, but it did save his life in the end.
Yes, and if he was needed, he could always turn around and help out his teammates instead of being dead.
Oh, it looks like Casey's going to try and make something of it in overtime. That was an incredibly close match. It felt like SRL had the advantage the entire game, but they could just still never push it past that point on their base. It seemed like they could just contain them. But at the same time, SRL just can never get them out of their defensive zone. It seems like they were just locked in place, and they can never get that extra 1 kill advantage just to push a little bit more forward.
Yes. Excellent plays by SRL.
I'm very sad though that we didn't get to see that Inkbrush 100-0 play. I mean, I never really expected it against Koopa Clan themselves, but I mean, it would have been really exciting.
Yeah, so pretty sure everyone would be screaming at the sight of that happening.
So the next map is Splat Zones on Port Mac. I mean, I've talked about this before on other games, but this seems to be the Koopa Clan special. If Koopa Clan is going to win any match, it'll probably be on this particular. I feel like if SRL takes this game, it might actually affect Koopa Clan greatly, just because they are the wall specialists, as we like to call them. So it looks like Koopa Clan is going to make a substitution. They might be putting in another person. So it looks like, yeah, it's going to be splat zones on Port Max. So like I've said before, this type of map, you want to have definite wall control, left lane, right lane, mid lane, and have a sniper. This is the usual comp that people run. They run it usually because it's the most effective. I mean, walls are just insanely dominant on the map with such a narrow hallway to push through. The second that you can get a contain into the enemy base is usually the sign that you are going to lose the game. This usually stays very, very even up until someone can get a contain on the enemy team.
Beacons will also help for setting up on each lane. And I see some teams often try to sneak a beacon on the other side in the corner, hoping no one hits it so they could get a attack on the team when they're not noticing. I wonder if anyone on either side will utilize beacons here.
Well, I mean, it could work if, I believe Andy might be running the custom on this time. Me personally, as a sniper, I prefer to run the normal on this. I feel like burst bombs are more effective in your own area or the enemy area, so that way you can provide some team kills for everyone else. But I know a lot of people who love running the custom with the beacons. I mean, you're right. Running the beacons into the enemy area is just a fantastic way of constantly applying pressure, and you always have a safe point to jump to. You don't always have to risk it if your team might be in conflict. Looks like it's taking a little bit of time to set up on this match. So, while we're at it, let's highlight player Albino. I mean, I know I've personally played against him a couple of times. Apparently, Tic Tac himself has been awestruck by his play. It seems like last LUTI matches, he did some dominating play on Hammerhead Bridge, just with that move speed, constantly running, placing walls right into the enemy base, essentially spawn camping cyberbullies. It was really impressive to watch because it's very rare you see a bamboozler dominate so well on really any map. I mean, Albino is really showing off how great of a player and how great of a weapon a bamboozler is and how effective it can be in team comps.
Definitely. I know he's definitely inspired a lot of people to try out the bamboozler.
Hey,
he's even inspired the ITI captain to try out the bamboozler a little bit.
Yeah, I know myself. I've been trying to work on my boozle play a little bit after watching Albino in those LUTI matches. It doesn't really end in the same result that he kind of gets, but I can think of it. I can hope in my head that it ends up like that at some point. But yeah, also we have Silver, who's a great Inkbrush player. He plays a multitude of weapons. Overall, like I said, you've seen in a lot of the highlight videos of Tudos where he just 100 O's and carries his team. Great support player. He seems to just know what he's doing with brushes. He's also had some nice highlight plays with sniper rifles as well, even though that's obviously not his main weapon. And then we can go to Koopa Clan. Koopa Clan, like I said, established team. They have Soren, Andy, Kiver, who are the classic 3 players from Koopa Clan. Kiver and Soren usually run 96-52 gals. You see a lot of the time they run 2 96s, which is a little bit insane, but I mean they seem to do it pretty good. Koopa Clan is what I like to consider the sniper's dream. It's that type of team that snipers dream that they could be on because of the amount of support that they actually get. I mean, that's not to say it's an advantage or disadvantage, it's just one of their play styles. They're a very defensive and support-heavy style team, so it really enforces the sniper really well for what they do.
Being able to comfortably snipe is definitely something every sniper would love to have every match.
Yeah.
And to have these players support him in the way they do typically makes your sniper more comfortable. They can land their shots a bit better sometimes.
All right, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to try and find a point in the match because it seems like they took a little bit of downtime. So, yeah, so just go to 40 minutes, please.
Okay. I'm there.
All right, and we'll start it in 3, 2, 1, and go. So, Torizo, what weapon do you play?
That is a complicated question. I am a sniper. I also use the squelchers, and recently I've picked up the flatlings, and that's all I've been using for the past week right now. Taking quite the warming to them.
So, just about this comp, SRL's using a really nice composition. It's very rare you see this type of composition together, but they have 4 walls on this comp, and they have very unique weapons. They decided to ditch the sniper altogether, get the heavy splatling for a little bit of that range, and just use Albino, you know, the Boozle God, to try and push his way through. I'm really excited to see how this match will turn out. SRL always coming up with some surprise compositions.
We have 7 walls on the field right now.
It's funny because I never thought I'd see the day when someone can outwall Koopa Clan, and it seems like SRL is just accomplishing this today.
If there's any team that can do it, SRL would be one of those teams.
So it looks like it's just a very neutral game so far. No one's really taking the advantage. Each team gets a kill off each other. It seems like Koopa Clan seems to be pushing up a little bit further into the enemy area. Like I said before, this seems to be like Koopa Clan's match to win at this point. They have a really strong comp. They've been using walls extremely well. I feel like they should be able to do this. And as I say that, the timer starts going down for Koopa Clan.
Looks like Koopa Clan's trying to lock down both hallways and force SRL to take the shoulders in order to get back into their area.
Which is exactly what you want them to do. I mean, you don't want them going freely through their streets. You want to lock those down and make sure that they can come up. SRL does secure their enemy zone, but it seems a little bit shaky so far. There's still 3 people up for Koopa Clan. They can easily come back to that enemy zone and keep applying pressure. And Koopa Clan, sorry, not Koopa Clan, SRL comes up with a speedy rush into the enemy zone. No one was there except for one person. They managed to cap it. It seemed to be like a little bit of mismanagement on Koopa Clan's part.
Yeah, they got in there pretty quickly and they broke the zone and gave them a nice penalizer for it.
And Tudo's going right up the mid. He's going to try and go for a flank. Oh, and just a clean kill on Soren. It looks like Koopa Clan, it looks like SRL is going to cap this, or they might potentially cap it. So right now, 3-on-4, SRL has a little bit of the advantage. Oh, and a beautiful double kill by Tudos. And wow, and he gets the full wipe. This looks like it's in a dominating fashion for SRL to take this win. I wouldn't be surprised if they 100-0 right now, just because they literally got a full wipe with all their 4 players up.
It looks like they have it pretty locked down. 1 person on each side and 2 on the hallways.
Yeah, you can tell SRL definitely prepared for how they're going to lock down on this area. Tudos is a smart player. A lot of people don't really cover those flank areas. They're just so focused on the streets, but he seemed to be doing both sides, making sure that everything was contained. Koopa Clan, they use their specials, they get out of that push, but honestly that was an extremely beautiful push by SRL. I think Koopa Clan's going to have a really hard time to come back. And Tudos with just another kill, looks like he's going to go for a nice flank, and he gets 2.
And they're going to take the zone back. Koopa Clan's going to have to do a lot of work to come back from this.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't see this coming back. I see them, yeah, and they're going to take it.
This is over.
So that was actually an incredibly clean game by SRL. I see Koopa Clan maybe tilting from this. I mean, this seems like a map that they should be incredibly strong on. Not only that, we've seen a lot of upsets on Walleye, not on Walleye, I'm sorry, on this map in particular, and just all the LUTI games. I know me in particular, our team lost on this map. A couple of other stronger teams seem to have lost on this map. That's not to say Koopa Clan is the stronger team, it just... me personally, I felt like Koopa Clan was favored to win this matchup, and they didn't. So it might affect them coming into the next couple of games.
Well, as we said, if there was a team to outwall Koopa Clan, it would be SRL.
Yeah, with
And
the
they
four
did an
walls.
excellent job in that.
I mean, it's always fun to watch SRL. They always bring up new comps. They seem to be doing not a lot of what the rest of the Western scene is doing, especially with Albino being just on the main roster with the Boozle in general. I mean, it just automatically switches up comps, but they just don't seem to be afraid to try out new weapons. They just go, hey, let's use it. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, tower control, salt spray rig. So hold on, I'm just going to update the points here. Yeah, so talk to me a little about Salt Spray Rig. What do you expect from this map and the teams?
I want to see how quickly one team can get it out of the back area and secure the tower around the 70 to 60 point frame. Because once the tower starts going downwards, it's really hard to get back from out of spawn and push the enemy back, since they have, especially if you have a sniper, they have the height advantage and they can see every entrance that you come out of. So with good call outs, a good lock can really be done on Salt Spray Rig in tower control.
Yeah, definitely. So as you can see, Tudo's switching up, going for the sniper rifle. I remember him saying that he's the best no scope in the league. So let's see if he'll actually do it. But it seems like he's using the scope this time around. It's interesting because Tudos is such a great frontliner for the team. I wonder how it's going to work out for them now that he's going to be playing a sniper rifle. I mean, I know Nick Ten was a great 10 to tech for their team. He does provide that good pressure. But at the same time, Tudos was always that great frontliner with a wall. He could always push forward. So it'll be interesting to see if Tudos can capitalize and get enough kills or enough support on his team to take the victory off of Koopa Clan.
I don't think I noticed any 96 y'alls, at least not on Koopa Clan side. They have 252s on Luna Blaster and Melee.
Which is interesting because you think that everyone is all about the Kraken spam on tower control, and it's surprising. It might actually cost them, if anything. Usually you want to get as many invincibility specials on tower control. That's almost how this type of matchup is played. So it looks like Tudos is going very heavily into that burst bomb action. He's getting really pressured hard. It seems like that front line is having a really hard time pushing forward with all the walls on Koopa Clan side for this match.
Yeah, they do not want him up there sniping, and it's showing.
So it looks like SRL manages to break that hold that Koopa Clan had. It looks like they're starting to cover ink, getting great ink coverage in that mid area. Tudos just covering that ramp, making sure they can't go up. This is really solid teamwork so far by SRL. Oh, and he just got sniped by Andy. But it looks like the Kraken is ready, and they're Krakening on the tower.
Good job, SRL, for continually pushing the tower.
Yeah, they just seem to have relentless pressure, and that seems to be like the story of all these games so far, except for the first one, of course, when Koopa Clan just knocked them out. But after that, it just seems like SRL just keeps having this momentum where they're constantly applying pressure, not allowing Koopa Clan any room to breathe, really. I mean, it was a fantastic first push, but it looks like SRL's a little bit far back, and that was a nice snipe by Andy on the tower. The advantage is definitely going to go to Koopa Clan right now. It seems like SRL, like I said, they're having a hard time getting up the ramp to take out that tower. Oh, and it was a great snipe by Tudos. Oh.
2 down on each side.
And that was incredibly close. That was that was a great kill just to finish it. Oh, and a nice kill on that killer whale. Incredibly back and forward game. I mean, it just seems like they're each breaking their contain as good as the other one is. Looks like it's just nothing is being let go for each of these teams. Oh, and Annie just... So far, he's out-sniping Tudos. Annie just seems to be controlling that snipe game, counter-sniping Tudos really well. I feel like a lot of that plays into the factor as to why the tower's getting pushed up so hard. Usually you want to rely on that sniper to make sure that he can take out people on that tower before it reaches a point of danger, I like to call it.
Yeah, definitely.
Tudos going up on the snipe tower. Oh, a nice burst bomb kill right before the wall goes up. And Koopa Clan controlling that entire mid area again. SRL just, they seem to be struggling whenever they get up on that ramp. I feel like they aren't charging their specials enough so that they can get on that tower. Oh, and Tudos with an amazingly clutch burst bomb save.
For a second there, I thought Koopa Clan had it. There was only Tudos alive while 4 Koopa Clans were about to trip the tower. That was a good stop by him jumping down and throwing all his burst bombs.
Looks like Tudos is coming back into the fray, ready to fight one more time. I mean, definitely SRL's holding out, but this game so far is definitely in Koopa Clan's favor. They just seem to be overall controlling that mid area way stronger than SRL. SRL just had a really strong push at the beginning. Oh, and Tudos with a beautiful snipe on the tower. That'll probably be game. Oh no, and Koopa Clan gets back on it. Oh, and Tudos. Tudos with the clutch snipes. Oh my god. That was a nerve-wracking game to watch. I have to say that Koopa Clan shouldn't be disappointed in that play. I felt like it was... I wouldn't want to say unlucky, because SRL did definitely hold that strong defense, and Tudos definitely stepped it up right at the end to make those kills. But Koopa Clan just seemed to be pushing constantly. They constantly kept holding that mid-ramp. They just didn't seem to push up just a little bit further to get those kills, to get that tower push that they needed.
Yeah, I feel like if they pushed a little bit further, they probably would have had the, they would have locked in SRL a bit harder, and they would have taken the lead.
Yeah, I would have put someone definitely on that ramp, but I probably would have had someone move a little bit more forward, closer to that sniper, just to harass him a little bit so he couldn't get a little bit of that ground. It seemed like Tudos, every time they got close, he managed to just pick them off just before they got that lead. I mean... As much as we say it, Tudos definitely was the one who won them that game just for the defense on that. But overall, I can't help but think that if Tudos was on a frontlining weapon, the game might have been a little bit more offensive towards SRL. I mean, they still pick up the victory, but it's too close. Koopa Clan should definitely feel good about that match overall, even though they still lost. Alright, so what can you tell me about Rainmaker Camp Triggerfish? I know this is a personal favorite of almost everyone in the tournament.
Definitely. I love Rainmaker Camp Triggerfish. And I could play it all day. Like, if you sat me in a private room and said, hey, let's play Rainmaker Camp Triggerfish for 6 hours, I'd do it.
I mean, I think everyone would. It's fantastic. This is definitely a really fun map and provides a lot of strategy, and it shows how well 2v2s work in these situations. You'll always have, like I said, the most effective strategy, personally from experience, seems to be having 2 on the left, 2 in the mid, having 2 run to the left with the Rainmaker, and have 2 go mid, charge up their specials, get a Kraken or a bubble, push up through that mid area, and just guard that goal to get the victory. That's the optimal way, but... I mean, just overall incredibly fun. This is definitely a sniper's dream map. It seems like snipers seem to top score and carry on these maps.
especially it's a lot of pressure sometimes being a sniper, and the Rainmaker starts coming up on the ropes, coming up to the Rainmaker pedestal, and like you have to land that shot, or else they're gonna dunk it.
Yeah, it's definitely stressful, but also exciting for a sniper on this map. I mean, I can't count as the many times that I've hit them and missed them for the win and for the loss.
I know me and my team, once we're in that situation where we know the sniper is the deciding factor for the match, we call that area duck hunt, and we pretend like the Rainmaker's a duck and they have to like escape and go further. And it actually stuck with us, and now it's like this silly thing we have.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, what I expect from this map, at least for the starting pushes, since we have a little bit of downtime before the game starts, is that I definitely see you're going to see for sure an E-leader on KC side. Andy definitely always goes with the E-leader. He's definitely going to push up on that wall. You're going to have 3 rush directly to the mid. It's very rare that you're going to see someone who goes to the right side. It'll happen if you're willing to give up that first explosion on the Rainmaker, but most teams like to fight for it and go directly into the mid. I wouldn't be surprised if you do see SRL give it up and go right to the left. They seem to mix it up a lot of the time. I'm always excited to watch them. They're like that team that always mixes it up, always surprises you, always brings new things to the table.
I want to see how well a first push would be for either side, because if you're capable of grabbing the Rainmaker and then like amidst all the chaos in the middle, you can escape, and it'll often be led to the sniper being the only person to reach you if you grab the Rainmaker and run to the left side. I want to see if either team can do that.
I mean, the one thing I will say about this E-leader on this map is that it covers almost everything. If you sit on that mid tower, you can pick someone off all the way on the far right near your base. You can pick someone off on the left elbow. You can pick someone off on the other snipe from like almost 10 miles away. It's a very dominating map because you just can control the entire mid area without ever moving.
Interesting that SRL's not using an E-leader.
Yeah,
so it seems.
I actually like this. As much as I think E-leader's really dominating, I just feel like Tudos as a player, his strengths are in the shooters. Not that he's a bad sniper, as we've just seen in his last game, but I feel like they need that frontlining power. And they kind of have Albino, who semi-fits that role. I mean, you saw it in the Hammerhead games and stuff. He seems to be able to carry himself on his own. I like the idea of them mixing it up. I mean, like I said, E-leader's really, really strong, but for SRL in particular, I like the idea of a more aggressive push from them. Oh, and like I said, SRL's mixing it up, and they're going to go for that right elbow flank. Looks like they gave up the pop on the Rainmaker.
Good escape by him.
Oh. That was a nice flank by Koopa Clan, and looks like they're going to go for the first push. It seems to be like there's no one on that side for SRL. Oh, and he just got a kill from behind. Good job. Oh, and it looks like Koopa Clan's going to carry it. This is an amazing starting push. Koopa Clan not letting up that pressure on the right side, but they still don't have any pressure on the mid. It seems like they won't be able to get up to that 25, 24 mark unless they get someone going through that mid to push up.
Oh, that's a good kill by Soren. I didn't even know the Luna Blaster was still there.
Like I said, here's where it gets tough, is at that 31 mark. SRL have their entire mid area contained, so unless Koopa Clan can get through that mid, I don't see them ever pushing up that 25 mark. It's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
Oh, and now SRL goes right on the offensive with a quick comeback. And as you see
like
the
it has no opposite.
And they're doing a 3-1 formation. No one seems to be on the left side. Oh my god, this was a terrible mistake for Koopa Clan. But Andy with the clutch snipe. If Andy was not there, like we said before with that E-leader, that would have been an instant game over. That's what you were referring to before, Torizo, about those heart attack moments for an E-leader, where the game's on the line and it's all in your hands.
Unfortunate that he didn't stop him before they took the lead, but hey, at least he stopped him.
Oh, and a nice kill. It looks like this is an insanely back and forth game. It just seems to be like no one can hold their ground on each side. It's incredibly exciting to watch.
Good job to SRL. They just just stopped their entire push right there. They actually killed every single one of them.
Yep. And like I said before, Tudos is now going up the mid while one's heading up the left side. I feel like so far, every time that there's been a push, SRL just seems to understand where each player is going a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's miscommunication so far by Koopa Clan, but they just keep pushing that mid area where Koopa Clan just keeps trying to brute force that left side, and it just doesn't seem to be working in their favor. Oh, and a nice escape by Tudos. He might super jump back in. Nope, he just decides to go straight from the base.
Good kill by Tudos.
Oh, and an amazing snipe by Andy. It looks like there's 3 people up for SRL. I think they can hold this pretty decently in that mid area. I wouldn't be too concerned right now unless something vital happens. I feel like SRL might have this game in the bag so far. They just seem to be doing way better on the pushes. They seem to be covering ink more on the enemy's mid and left side when they do go for the advantages. It seems like their positioning overall is just a little bit more effective.
Doesn't seem they're going to let up on Koopa Clan either. Right here, right now, Koopa Clan has 2 down, and the Rainmaker is down too.
And that wall placement's actually really good. There's no way that he could really get across, only on the left side, and it was covered by someone. And Tito's going back into the mid. It's a smart choice overall. I don't like the idea of dropping the Rainmaker and resetting, because then you're a player down when they could easily go through that mid area. It was a smart choice so far for SRL. Oh, and a nice Rainmaker kill right at the end.
Yeah, and I feel like, I'm pretty sure he put that up there on purpose. It's really tough to claim the Rainmaker in that specific spot. People kind of have to go all their way around just to grab it.
Yeah, they're going to pop the Rainmaker. It might go into overtime, but I don't see them. This is definitely a win for SRL. Yep, so that was a really clean game by SRL. Like I said, it seems like there was some... I don't want to say communication errors, because I'm not listening to the comms of KC, but it seems like they just all kept going to that left side whenever they got a push, and they never seemed to go through that mid area. It seemed like every time I saw Tudos on his screen, it was just always covered in green for Tudos.
Yeah, I don't think Koopa Clan ever did go down their street. I don't think they sent one person down there to cause some chaos.
Yeah, they just tried
SRL.
to brute force it. Also, SRL, of course, since they did win the S&M Rainmaker tournament, they obviously know what to do on Rainmaker. They set up all their positions perfectly. And definitely that Rainmaker positioning right at the end just instantly solidified the victory for SRL. So far, these look like incredibly clean games by SRL. I mean, they started out a bit close, but as the games progress, it just seems to be getting further and further, and it looks like SRL's just kind of, I don't want to say dominating, because Koopa Clan's definitely holding their own, but they seem to just be stronger at the moment.
I agree. Every time Koopa Clan tries to make a major push, SRL is there to stop them so far.
I mean, it might not even that. It could also be a question of just team composition. SRL plays weird comps, and a lot of the times teams can't adapt to it. I mean, I know that we've struggled before with different weapon compositions other than just the classic that everyone runs. This could be a sign of that. Just the meta's changing a little bit. SRL's mixing it up. People just aren't used to what's happening. So it looks like we're going to mix it up. It's going to be Splat Zones, Piranha Pit. Is there anything that you can tell me about this map?
The keeping the enemies locked down in their spawn is not too difficult on this map. However, the zones both being as large as they are, it's not something you can just sweep over to and take over in about 2 or 3 seconds. When someone's taking a zone, you really got to put in effort to capture the entire zone because it requires so much ink. And because of that, while a zone is, you know, about to be taken over, the enemy clearly knows they can see you. They can come back and counterattack, and since they're not too far away from each other, such as like Port Mackerel, you can, you know, kind of swap back and forth between the zones and keep good control over both.
Yeah. Actually, the one thing I will say about this map is that, like you said before, if you can get that contained down on that spawn camp, it is almost 100 out instantly. It's one of those maps, like you said, like Port Mac, where you can just instantly lock out someone. The one thing I will say, though, is, as I did say that I liked the non-snipe on SRL for the Piranha Pit match because of how aggressive they play, I don't like it on this map. Because it's so small, there's no need to really go so far that you can leave a sniper in the dust. Snipers dominate on this map. It is a sniper's map to win. So if they're not going one, I feel like it might be a little bit detrimental for SRL in this type of situation, especially when you know KC is going to run 2 walls, 1 on each side. They're going to cover those streets, and you're going to have Andy on the snipe, probably on the escalator. I mean, I know this is one of my personal favorite maps as a sniper. I feel like I could just see the entire map when I'm on that escalator, and I could just pick off everyone.
This is one of my favorite maps to snipe on as well. It has a lot of line of sight.
Yeah, so for SRL and Koopa Clan, you're either going to see a 3-1 or a 2-2, 2 heading left. Oh, and Tudos with a great double kill at the beginning of the game. It looks like SRL will definitely take that zone.
That was a really good push, really fast and really efficient.
Yeah, but SRL doesn't seem to be pushing up into that right side to go for the contain. They just seem to be holding a 2-2, which is not going to work out. I mean, it's working out right now, but I would prefer if all 4 end up pushing forward on that right side. Oh, and Andy with a good snipe.
I'm surprised that other player just jumped away. Shooting back at 2 goes. I feel like that was a very bad play on their part.
Yep. And Koopa Clan's getting their specials up. Kamek just gets 1 kill, gets 2 kills with the Kraken. They're definitely going to take that area.
Yeah, that's why I was 3 down there now.
And let's see how Koopa Clan does this contain. Well, it looks like 1 player's down. There's still 3 up. There's no one on the right side. Oh, but 1 gets killed by a flank. Tudos gets taken down. Just a great double kill by Kiver. It seems like they're starting to try and do their contain. It looks like there's more on that left side. I feel like Koopa Clan is understanding a little bit more than SRL how to play this. But as I say that, SRL gets the lead. Not the lead, but they get the contain. And now the lead. And there we go. And Koopa Clan just seems to be holding this contain really, really, really well. A nice kill on Tudos to take back the zone.
Good killer whale. Did buy himself some time. Ooh, good kill.
And it looks like Tudos will take back the zone for SRL and give them a penalty. At the moment, SRL is looking a little bit stronger. They seem to know what to do once they get those zones taken. I mean, I feel like I've seen a lot of teams not being able to do what to do on this map in particular. I mean, it's a fairly new map, so a lot of solid strategies haven't been completely defined. But usually just want to get that contained down, and SRL seems to be struggling with it a little bit more than Koopa Clan does. And Koopa Clan just defending their own zone quite well. They're locking Chudos in. Easy kill for Kipper.
It's unfortunate he ran out of ink in such a quick
I mean, he was getting 3v1, so it was a little bit difficult for Chudos at that point, but... Oh, and a beautiful double kill, and it looks like he can get that triple. And no, Andy gets away. Great escape by Andy. Oh, and a beautiful suction bomb kill on that wall by Kipper. And a great kill. Looks like SRL's trying to slowly push back onto this right side. They just don't seem to be getting it. Oh, and they get and they get it back. Just as I say it, they keep contradicting me. Chudos with some nice movement.
Nice maneuvers over there. Oh.
And he gets taken on the zone. You really don't want to be doing that, especially on this map. If you die, that ink coverage on the zone is enormous.
Dying in the zone is the worst in splat zones.
Oh, and a nice kill by Andy. Looks like he was too focused in. Literally focused in. And a cleanup by Kipper. Kipper just really seems to be holding his own on this. I mean, I didn't notice it too much before, but that defense is really, really helping him with that. It looks like Chudos is having a really hard time trying to two-shot him. He always has to take 3 shots because Kipper just that slight advantage when he's dueling him. And Chudos is super jumping back in. This is an incredibly close game, especially considering that SRL has the advantage with that timer, but they don't seem to take the zone. That was an intense game, but overall I felt like just that single push by Koopa Clan, they just seemed to do that contain a little bit better. The second SRL got all at the first point, they just didn't seem to lock down that mid area. It seemed like people sat back in their base, but they didn't really have to because they got a clean wipe. But yeah, definitely after that middle part, it seemed to be very, very even.
Good job to Koopa Clan for stopping him. They may not have given the penalty, but at least they didn't lose the lead. Very good defense on their part.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see SRL definitely sweating on that last moment because they really were incredibly close to getting it. If one of those members died inside of their zone, I would have easily have called it an SRL game, but good job for holding out. I wouldn't say it was completely clean, but I mean, a win's a win regardless.
Yeah.
And next map is TC Arrow on a Wall, Arrow on a Mall. So give me a little bit of briefing on what you think about this map.
Well, whenever E-leaders are a huge help here because they can sit up on the wall and take down the tower, like the person on the tower, from a great distance away. Like, there's nothing really in the way besides that palm tree stopping them. But I've seen some interesting plays by teams lacking a sniper, and they would just kind of huddle up on the sides with mid-range weapons like Splattershot Pro or a 96, not mid-range, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
And with their specials, they just kind of shoot, apply the pressure, and when the time comes, they can use their special to stop the tower. For those teams that don't have a sniper who is comfortable with themselves enough to play sniper at the moment.
So, it looks like, depending on how SRL team comps on this one, I mean, they usually play very different compared to everyone else, so I really hope they do have an E-leader on this map. You were talking about people not holding E-leaders, but I feel like it's an essential weapon on this map in particular. It's so controlling, especially on tower control. as opposed to KC, they're definitely going to run their usual composition. They did swap out players, but their comps usually tend to stay very similarly. Andy's always going to be on that E-leader. Oh, and there we go. So there's the custom E-leader. So, yeah, definitely the E-leaders are the key on this map. I feel like that mid-snipe area, like you were talking about before, is just so dominating on tower control. It's really hard to get out of that neutral before you can take out the sniper. The sniper is really the key in this type of matchup in that neutral area. And then later on, as it goes down, it comes down to just special stacking for the most part on Arowana. I feel like having Krakens or bubbles is really the key to this map in particular. And having the snipe pop up onto that middle area, taking out people on the left and the right, just to stop people from dropping down constantly on that map. It's easy to contain people in the mid area, but once you reach from those left and right sides, it gets really hard to take it out.
I agree. Albino's back on the bamboozler. Can't wait to see what he does with that.
Always exciting to watch Albino play on that boozler. He seems to be a fan favorite for everyone. So it's interesting. SRL decided not to go onto their close. It seemed like Koopa Clan did. SRL did get on the tower first, but I feel like Koopa Clan is going to slowly push this forward a little bit more just because of that weird positioning. And as I say that, SRL gets a nice double. But positionally wise, I definitely agree Koopa Clan did a little bit better. And Koopa Clan fends off that contain, and SRL is now going to start playing from defense. Or not, because they seem to keep stacking with a nice Kraken on the tower. Wow, this is just relentless. I feel like every time I think Koopa Clan has it, SRL just keeps coming back.
Every point matters, even if it's just one. You got to push it as far as you can.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like Koopa Clan is now definitely contained this tower. They're going to start their push. And a nice kill by Sabo.
Interesting to see he inked the wall. He tried to hide on the wall and ambush a couple of players. But he probably messed up a little bit there when he popped up and they took notice of him.
Oh, and Andy with a nice counter snipe. But Tudo's coming behind to take the kill and to neutralize the tower. I mean, just a little bit of criticism for SRL in particular. They don't really seem to go up their own close too much. They seem to keep rushing up the middle. If Koopa Clan starts catching on to this, I feel like it can really lock them out. And a great kill by Kibler. And Koopa Clan really containing this whole area. They just seem to be getting the lead and the advantage. They get all that ink control in that mid area, giving a really hard time for SRL. Since they haven't really going up that close, only through that mid, Koopa Clan just seems to be stopping them really well.
They have a lot of ink coverage on their side too, guaranteeing them more movement in their area. It's a little tough for SRL to move around where they choose and contest those on the bottom.
Yeah, and not only that, Koopa Clan keeps winning their trades in their own offensive area. I mean, SRL did finally contain the push. They're moving up, but I mean, as long as they're not taking hold of their own clothes, I feel like Koopa Clan will keep putting a lot more pressure on them. And it's another kill on Sabo. He's really liking that haunt quick respawn. I mean, like I said before, we've seen Sendo use it a lot. But it looks like Sabo's using it. I feel like Sendo's slowly changing the meta for everyone here. I mean, this just looks so dominating right now. SRL's really holding. I mean, they get the first Kraken down. Oh, and it looks like... Sorry, pause. Where are you at right now? I'm sorry for the pause. What's your timer at?
Oh, I'm at 119.48.
Okay, so just go back to 43.
Okay. All right, I'm there.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. And another nice kill by Kiver. I mean, I don't really see any way that SRL can come back from this right now. Koopa Clan just really seems to be dominating that mid area, and the only time they've ever taken into account this close is Tudos right now at this very moment, and he backs away.
There's still some, they still have a chance. There's a lot of enemy ink on the ground. So if they do get a good push, they have a lot of ground to cover, which will help them build up their specials, and they can get a really good push off of that. Potentially, yeah. Oh no.
And another kill by Kiver. I mean, that's what SRL should be thinking about doing right now, is definitely covering their own turf, like you said before, charging up those specials so that they can then push forward, because every time they seem to go up to that mid area, they just get dominated by Sabo on that Luna Blaster. And 3 seconds, I feel like this is going to go to Koopa Clan. Oh, but in overtime, they seem to be pushing the tower. Oh, Tudos gets a nice kill. Oh my god, Koopa Clan is wiped. There's only one person left, and he gets taken down. Oh my god, is SRL going to do this?
Looks like...
And they took the lead.
Yep.
Oh my god. Koopa Clan is going to feel so bad about that game. They just dominated the entire match, and then right at the end, it feels like they just panicked, and SRL just sneaked in and squeaked a little victory for that 5-2. Excellent games. Oh, that was fantastic.
I was next and set to watch almost every game. It was extremely close. Always intense.
Oh yeah, that was definitely some great games overall. So we're gonna take a small, I'd say 15, about 5 to 10 minute break, and then we'll come back with JFG versus DEG. So stay tuned.